It's our turn to pay that back with that taonga.
Protecting this moana has been Davis Apati's life.
To guide it back and to protect it as best we can.
Every day you'll find him here at Aotea Harbour. His whakapapa is part of the landscape.
This area is called Maukatea, and our tupunas lived here, right here, and they originally came from Oiroa over there, on that side. It's a beautiful, beautiful place.
And out there somewhere off the North Island's rugged west coast are the critically endangered Maui dolphins he's so passionate about protecting.
Their habitat is here, their food source is here. They would have been right through here.
But there's only 54 left. Maui dolphins are a subspecies of the already endangered Hector's dolphin, but much smaller, and the threats are man-made.
But now we're seeing the results of fishing and the destruction that it has caused through this taonga, and how we're going to lose it. And we don't really want that to happen. We really don't.
For the last 20 years, Davis has been leading his iwi, Ngāti Te Wehi, in the fight to protect the Maui dolphin.
At the end of the day, there's only 100 left. And, you know, what do you have to do to find out? Do we have to wait till 50? Do we have to wait till 25 to realise, shucks, well, you know, this is it, we've got to do something.
The Maui dolphin is special to the people of Ngāti Te Wehi. When their tipuna travelled from Hawaii to Aotea Harbour, their waka was guided by a dolphin named Pane Ireira.
That's where the dolphin's whakapapa connects to us. We have to be mindful of those stories because they tie us together and they bind us together.
The results of the last 20 years haven't been what you've wanted.
It's like having a tangi, waiting for the tangi to happen. You know it's going to happen. You know it's coming. And then it's like crying. You're crying because you know it's going to happen. And you don't want it to happen, but you know it's going to happen, and you've got to try and deal with it. You're going to have to deal with it because you know the people that are taking care of it aren't taking care of it. But we can't wait another 5 years because that's it for the dolphin.
Though this is very much a kaupapa shared, it's Davis who stepped up on their behalf.
Tino koa, mai rano ko mātou tēnei, tōna kaha ki te whawhai. Me te whawhai I a mātou, kia haere ki te awhina I aia.
He's had a big impact on my life, and others around here, whānau as well. He's taught me a lot within kaitiaki, just being strong, standing firm, and just having a voice.
In 2008, Ngāti Te Wehi lobbied the Crown over protecting the Maui dolphin habitat. They wanted a 20 nautical mile commercial fishing exclusion zone. In 2013, Davis took their case to the Waitangi Tribunal, claiming that the government's policy on the protection of the Maui dolphin breached the treaty, but the claim was rejected.
I was gutted. We were devastated at the response of what we heard.
But there was an upside. A new threat management plan was introduced, banning commercial drift net and trawling within 4 miles of the shore, even though Ngāti Te Wehi wanted a 20 nautical mile limit.
Because of the fishing. The fishing again, it's money. It boils down to money.
How do gill nets and bottom trawling affect the dolphins?
They catch them in the nets. Once they hit the net, they don't know how to back out of it, and they just push forward and they eventually drown.
The plight of the Maui drew national and international attention, and in 2020, Dock and Fisheries pushed the protection zone to 12 nautical miles, but not the 20 miles Ngāti Te Wehi and others were demanding.
They made a compromise between saving the dolphins and fishing industry profits. So international experts have been urging New Zealand to protect Maui dolphins to at least 20 nautical miles offshore, but so far the politicians have always compromised between that advice and the interests of the fishing industry.
Fisheries told us a 20-mile set net ban is unnecessary. They say a 12-mile limit is enough to remove risk to the dolphins. This was after consulting with iwi fisheries forums.
Unfortunately, it's our own Māori people that want to continue fishing in the way that we shouldn't be fishing. This is not tikanga. When you're destroying something, that's not tikanga, because you're not doing it properly.
Just across the harbour is kawhia fisherman Ali Brooks. Extending the protection zone would cause a huge financial blow to his business that's already taken a hit. When the 12-mile limit was enforced, he had to shut down.
It just became unable to sustain in the fishery, so we joined another whānau up here in Kawhia, Moana, and we transitioned to trawling.
What was the cost?
Financially, I could just tell you the dollars are way up there when it impacted us, when the TMP came into place. And then because we wanted to stay in the industry, we had to reinvest even more dollars. If, for example, we were to be put out of the business now, by any further measures, it's well over $1 million of rendered useless assets. Like if we were pushed out to 20 miles, say, our maritime tickets don't even cover us to go past the 12 mile. And to upgrade to the next level of ticket, we would have to go to a maritime school for 4 months, and it would have a cost to us of around about $50,000 per person, as well as being displaced from running our businesses.
There's even biodiversity impacts that Ali's worried about. Since a 12 nautical mile ban, rig sharks are coming closer inshore and are eating more crayfish.
We're seeing it on the boats when we dress the shark. There's juvenile coda inside all of these rig stomachs. And, from our perspective, what we're seeing is that it's at a higher rate than human take.
What would the solution be for you?
I would rather, personally, see a balanced fishery where we're protecting all our stocks, including the Maui dolphin, but on a realistic scale, because I don't think we should be sacrificing coda and other stocks for a perceived threat that I don't believe is as bad as it's being made out to be. In terms of we're counting numbers of dolphins versus Māori fishermen, we are far more at risk of being extinct. And some people would say things like, oh, but commercial, this and that, it's a Pākehā concept, or it's not it's a different concept. We've been fishing for our people in our villages for as long as we got here. The commercial term is something that was placed upon us. We are traditional Māori customary fishermen at heart.
Ali's one of many fishermen required to have cameras on their boats as a new protection measure for Maui dolphins. There's also drones, but Dr. Liz Sluton says it's nowhere near enough.
Cameras on boats don't do anything to stop dolphins dying in fishing nets. They just count the dead dolphins. And drones are even less effective because they only see a very small part of the population of dolphins at any one time. So it's totally unrealistic to think that drones can protect dolphins. So we really need to focus on stopping those avoidable dolphin deaths now. and that's best done by removing fishing nets from their habitat.
Adding to the mix is another theory about why Maui dolphins are disappearing. Doc has put almost $5 million into investigating whether cat feces leaching into rivers and waterways are spreading the deadly parasite toxoplasmosis infecting Maui.
We've been running an extensive program of work with Massey University veterinary pathologists to look at dead dolphins that wash ashore. So we look for the cause of death, and that through that the discovery of toxoplasmosis as a cause of death was indicated. And we found that between 2007 and 2011 that 25% of all the carcasses or all the dead dolphins washed on the shore that were examined had died of toxoplasmosis.
There's no definitive finding on toxo yet and how domestic cats may be poisoning dolphins, and not everyone's convinced.
Lots of dolphin populations around the world have been tested for toxo, and they all have it. And it's usually a secondary infection. So in most cases, the animal's already dying from another disease that's much worse, or they're dying of old age.
What do you say to that?
I say we have to use the available information that we've got, and our way of looking at the health of these dolphins is through examining the dead dolphins that wash ashore. And it's certainly a very high prevalence of the parasite within these dolphins, and the high number of dolphin deaths from this parasite means that it's something that we do have to take very seriously.
Back in Aotea Harbour, Davis is looking towards mātauranga and tikanga Māori as the way forward for protecting their taonga.
We would start training our kaitiaki up to go out and patrol. We would get, we would put rahui and all of the Māori techniques that were used in our tupuna's time to place over areas. We would use mai taitais. All of the tools that we have used that are available that we aren't being able to use.
I've spoken to Doc and they say that they're interested in working with iwi to come up with solutions. Would you be interested in working with them?
We would love to. Would love to. Better to work together than against each other. You know? Tātou, tātou. Let's get on with it. Let's do it. It's important to us.
If the Maui dolphin does become extinct within your lifetime, what effect would that have on you?
It's crushing. It's crushing. It's crushing that to think that I'm going to see that happen. And I think I will see that happen. I will see that happen. I'm preparing myself slowly. It's a battle only a certain few will fight and continue to fight. And 22 years, it's been a tough battle. It's been a very, very tough battle. But we know that we're there till the end. We're there till the end.